Hello everyone, and welcome back to Vision and Purpose Media Production. And this is Vision and Purpose Community Magazine. This is our release night, and we've been having great conversation. This is our Manhood edition, and I'll tell you, we have a packed house, and thank you for the studio audience giving us the energy. And so when we celebrate our Manhood edition, you know, we have 2 front covers, and I am just so honored to have, each year I keep saying, how we gonna out-top last year? You know, but you know, you just leave it to God. You just let go and let God. And he gave me 2 awesome men, and I'm up here thinking I'm doing something. I'm calling, I said, you know, Senator Nick, I want you on the front cover. And I have this friend named Jamie. Oh, I know Jamie. Then I call Jamie, I want you to be on the front cover. And I know, oh, I know Nick. Yeah, we boys. So Jamie, he gonna tell us how much they really boys. So they like knew each other. So the photo shoot, guys, was just amazing because the chemistry was there, the connection was there, and I mean, they was going for it on these pictures and just catching them in a natural element. I am just thrilled to have State Senator Nick Charles for District 25 in the house, and reality star and retired DC detective Jamie Taylor. Thank you both. Yes. And so give us a little bit about, introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what is a state senator and what do they mean by District 25? You know, this is time to educate our people because it's election time now, and we need to know about this process, and because it starts right here at the local level, everyone. And so we know who we are on the local level. This is what make the determination for the higher ups in the nation level of the political arena. And I wanted to say, I just personally I call him my little brother. I have seen him grow and do so much for his community, and he have a big heart for the community. So thank you so much for being here, Senator Nick.
Thanks, Big Sis. I truly appreciate you for having me. This was an amazing opportunity, experience. We did that was a fun time at the State House with the photo shoot. But a state senator, you know, we have 47 legislative districts across the state, and each of the districts get 3 delegates, and you get 1 senator. And so when I first came into politics, I was in the Maryland House of Delegates, where I served on the House Health and Government Operations Committee, also served on the Ways and Means Committee, where I grew to be the chair of the Local Revenues Committee, which dealt with all of the taxes. I also was elected by all of my peers to be the chairman for the Prince George's County House Delegation, which is 23 members strong. And Prince George's County is the 2nd largest voting block for the entire state of Maryland. So if you want to win any statewide election, you have to come to Prince George's County. And that's why
Say that.
Yes, indeed. It's imperative that folks understand that and understand our political power. And that's why it's so amazing now watching Angela also Brooks, our county executive, be propelled to the level she is running for United States Senate. But in addition to that, I've been the vice chair of the House Democratic Caucus, which in total is 141 members of the Maryland General Assembly, the Maryland House of Delegates, and I was the vice chair for 102 members. And so we have a supermajority in Maryland where we get everything accomplished. So it's been an amazing opportunity to, one, you know, I worked under an administration. Had to work with Governor Hogan, which, you know, when we had to work with him, a lot of people are misinformed and say that he's done so many great things for our community. But I can tell you right now that the reason that our hospital has the longest wait times in the country, the University of Maryland Medical System Hospital, under his administration, they cut the amount of beds we're supposed to have in our waiting room. And for the emergency room, they cut the amount of beds we were supposed to have in the hospital in whole. They cut the amount of floors we were supposed to have. We had to fight with the governor at that time to make sure we had adequate funding for our education system. He underfunded Prince George's County and Baltimore City, the 2 blackest jurisdictions across the state, but nobody's talking about that. He We were addressing the issue with the duplication of programs with our HBCUs. For years, our HBCUs were being underfunded. And we put a bill in to address that and stop it and make sure that we don't have the duplication of programs and we have more adequate funding going. The guy turned around and vetoed the bill. And so, you know, as we are going into this election season, these are some of the things that we've been fighting for, but that he did not do. So I want to make sure we do have an educated crowd that understands that everything that glitters is not gold. It may seem as if this guy was fighting for our people, but he was not. And so collectively, all of the senators, we have 8 senators from Prince George's County, and I'm one of the senators. I represent Legislative District 25, which is Largo, Kettering, Mitchellville, Upper Marlboro, Temple Hills, Forestville, District Heights, Capitol Heights, Suitland, Morningside, Westphalia, all of Andrews Air Force Base, and you know, we have, like I said, 2 great municipalities, District Heights and Morningside, and where the community college is, and you know, I'm blessed to represent the area I grew up in. So my alma mater, Largo High School, is there. I served on Andrews Air Force Base when I was in the Air Force, and that's also in the district. My elementary school's in the district, so you know, I take a lot of these issues very serious because this is the community that birthed me, the community that raised me. So when we actually go to Annapolis for the will of the people, it has to truly be about the will of the people and as we move forward. And these are folks that raised me. I still live in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I bought a house 6 houses down from my mom's house when I left active duty military. And so, like I said, when I wake up and go outside and see the neighbors, they've watched me grow as a child. It's always a very, very important feeling that I get as I do this job.
Wow. Tell us about yourself and start with, you know, being a DC detective for over 25 years and now moving into the, you know, entertainment and acting arena. So you are on both sides of it all. So, yes.
How's everybody doing? Jamie Tyler, as she said. Yes, I started my police career in 1997, retired in October 2022 after 25 years. I spent a lot of time in, initially in patrol, 3 years down in the Southwest area. Then I did narcotics for about 8 years. Y'all remember the, what they call the jump outs? And I did a little undercover work. That was back in 01 to like 08. Then I made detective in 2008. They sent me right to 70 Southeast. Spent 4 years over there. And then my toughest assignment was homicide, which I did 2012, 2017. And in my last 5, I finished out in the sex offender unit in police headquarters. And from that world, I get invited to be on a TV show, which I'm currently on season. We did 3 seasons, Love and Merge DC. Anybody ever heard of that? No. So, and my wife and Jason are here. They also on the show. That came from Monique Samuels, who was on Real Housewives of Potomac. She was cool with Raina from Instagram. And was like, hey, I own this pitching a show in DC. Would you guys want to interview? And of course, I was like, no. Of course, she was like, yes.
Of course. And we know who won. I mean, no, did I say that?
Then she tells me it's OWN, so it's like, it's not Bravo. You know, Bravo is messy. OWN is more black empowerment. And I'm like, I don't believe that.
Upscale messy.
I promise you. So, as you see, we end up doing it, and you know, it's a double-edged sword. Like I was telling Nick, you know, you could be up here 1 week, and then 1 week the whole internet hates you. So I learned how to navigate that world after the first season, and I feel like season 2 and 3, I made a complete 360, and now one of the more likable husbands on the show.
You really are. You really are. And yes, and Senator Charles, one thing that touched my heart about your story, because I'm a big sports fan, and I'm gonna say this because everybody, I mean, we can't even get no news without everybody talking about LeBron and his son getting a chance to play together. But guess what? We got something even more special, because Senator Nick Charles and his father was able to serve this country together. And thank you. That is very honorable. That is the highest honor ever. And your father, I know he's going to be proud to know that you mentioned that in your story. When I mean, tears went through me, because I can just see the proudness that you had, that you was able to serve with your father. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, this area is a beautiful area to grow up in. There's so many opportunities you get. And so when I was 15, I got an opportunity, to start working at the Pentagon. My mom filled out all these applications. I was working at Wendy's over on in Forestville at first, and my mom filled out all these.
You better work.
Yes, indeed. Filled out all these applications, and I got a summer internship at the Pentagon. And in that process, I ended up, I was working with the Accessions and Separations Office, who dealt with all of the policy Air Force-wide to bring people in. And so a lot of my colleagues in the office said, Nick, won't you come over and actually join the Air Force with us? And at that time, my grades in college were trash. My dad said, bro, I don't pay for C's, because I don't do that. So you can get the military pay for that for you, get that GI Bill. So I said, all right, I'm gonna do that. I may want to go in the Army like you. So my dad was an Army man at the time. He was a major. And I said, well, I think I want to go. He said, nah, the Army ain't for you, bro. You need to go in the Air Force. It's gonna be a little cushy. They got golf courses. They got pillows that you can lay. I'm laying on rocks and everything. So go into the Air Force. So I ended up leaving the Pentagon and enlisting into the Air Force. And it was 2 weeks before 9/11. So I left the Pentagon literally 2 weeks before the planes crashed into our building. And so I'm processing in the dental line and watching on the news, which it looked like a movie at the time, but watching my old office go up in flames while, then the news reports were saying the Washington Navy Yard where my mom worked was under attack. It was so much that was on the news down in Texas and San Antonio while we were dealing with this. And so, at that point, I said it's an honor to be able to be in this position to, serve our country, especially in a time when somebody just attacked us. And so my dad was working in a Special Forces unit with the Army, and he's like, it was just a surreal moment. And so I was able to participate in Operation Noble Eagle, where we were able to come back home and protect the airspace across all of us, so nobody would ever do that again to our communities. And so that was a surreal experience as well. And but being in that position with my dad, where he's serving, I'm serving, it was something I'll never forget. And same thing happened in our fraternity as well. So I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And so, and my father, when I was in college at University of District of Columbia, I was elected by all of our peers to be the second vice district representative, which is the highest ranking undergrad that oversees all the chapters, the third in command for the entire district. And my dad at the time was the 13th district deputy DR for Japan. And so at that time, because he was the 13th district is our international district. And the beauty of all that, I'm saying that now because we're in the middle of our conclave, and I see a couple of the bros in here, bro Calvin Hawkins and bro Bleu Copeland, thank you to them, because they could be down in Tampa with the bros for conclave right now, but they're up here. But with my dad, we both were able to serve the fraternity together. We were able to serve in the capacity as military members together. And so, as we deal with the Manhood edition, manhood in our world is about responsibility. And the responsibility I learned from my dad is something that I'm passing down to my son, about the responsibility of your actions, the responsibility of your service to other brothers, the service to yourself, and your service to your family. And so that's something that I learned from my dad through our military experience and also through our fraternal experience.
Wow, I tell you, see, our Manhood edition is like that. If you didn't get your copy, you better go and order at www.V&P Media Productions, .com. So yes, and Jamie, I must say, what touched my heart about your story, you mentioned several times in here that your promise was to make it home every night to your beautiful family. So tell us about that mindset of being out there, fighting the streets and protecting the streets and being able to make it home, doing 25 years as a police officer and detective, but making sure that you make it home to your family each and every night.
Yeah, if you think back to 1996, the state of DC with crime and police getting killed in the line of duty and off duty, that's when I applied. So I applied in 96, and I'm sitting around for probably close to a year. And here they come, 97. Oh, start Monday. And it's like Monday. I was like, I gotta start in 7 days. He was like, yeah, be at the academy. So when I went through the application stuff, the family's like, I don't really like that, but you grown, you do what you want. I said, nah, I'm gonna be good, And then during that year, I think a couple officers got shot. If you remember, Oliver Wendell Smith got shot.
Yes.
So all that's going on as I'm waiting on this process. And I had to just tell them, like, straight up, look, it's 1997. I was like, I promise you guys, nothing will happen. I don't know if my mother remembers, she's sitting there. Yeah, and I told them, both of them, my wife. And so every day it was, that's always on my mind. And I did a lot of crazy stuff that I sit back today and was like, why did I do that? I don't even know how I'm still here. And, it's just days you just don't know what's going to happen. And I had a whole lot of them, especially that narcotics, 8 years. That was 01 to 08. If you remember, DC was still wide open, open air drug markets everywhere. Southwest was crazy. Southeast, Capers was all that was still search and quarters. And we was in those neighborhoods every day. So, I just thank the man above, like I did in that scene. That was a very emotional scene because I was done. I was complete. I was done with that job, and I fulfilled the promise. So that was a very touching moment.
Amen. Amen. And with that, we have a very special guest, and I wanted to save him for last. And so this is one of our sneak surprises, because I wanted him to hear the real manhood stories. And I wanted him to come and know that you are a youth and you well on your way. I told your family I'm getting you. That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna go ahead and do it for you, great-grandma and dad back there. That's what I'm talking about. Real man come up shaking hands. You hear me? Oh, come on now. Can we give it up to him? Let our community hero know that he is doing good. Okay? I appreciate you. I see you. So I'm gonna I'm gonna step out of this conversation and I'm gonna let y'all three have a conversation. What can y'all pour into this young community hero right here? And after he introduces himself, just give us an introduction. Go ahead. I know you got this. You do it. Make sure your mic is on. Just push the button all the way up so we can make sure we hear you. And then I'm just going to let the men just do their thing because this is what needs to happen, We need to see this all the time. And like I said, when mainstream sitting up there telling that negative story, look at this positive right here. Look at this right here. This is history, guys. So I'm going to give him the introduction, and I'm just going to let you three just go for it. Come on, tell us who you are, Julian.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Julian Santana-Mays. I am 11 years old. I like to play sports. I'm good at school. That's the most important thing. That comes first. So. I'm now going to the 6th grade at Stephen Decatur Middle School.
All right, I like that. So yes, so guys, I'm gonna start it off and then, just pour into him. So what is real manhood? How was you raised? And right now to the day, what can you tell him about real manhood? And then I'm you next, Jane. But Senator, what can you tell him about manhood, real manhood?
It's looking at him. My son is 11 years old also, and I'm always talking to him about honesty, about seeing everything through. There's a poem called See It Through. When you're up against the trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, take a brace. When it's vain to try to die, despite that all that you can do, you may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. And so when you're dealing with any issues, problems gonna come left and right, always. But you turn around and you just keep going forward. You take your bumps and your bruises. If it's something that's really impactful, take that day, cry about it, and then you gotta get back up, brush yourself off, and get back to it. Things don't stop, and the responsibility that's placed on a lot of us as you're a young man, in my family, we call my son a man-child because, he is on his way to being a man, and I call you a man-child as well, because before you know it and before you blink your eyes, you will be a man, and the responsibilities that you'll have will be something where you're taking care of not only yourself, but your family. As your mother gets older, I'm there for my mom, I'm there for my father, I'm there for my family. You become the go-to person, and you may not understand it now, but when you start focusing on those issues today and moving forward, not letting anything stop you, you'll make so much improvement on the community around you. Trust me when I tell you that.
All right, amen. Jamie?
How do you come behind Nick Charles? It's not easy. Everything Nick said is spot on, and I was so impressed with him when I first saw him in the back. This is how clean he is. What y'all say, drip? And I want to shout out his family, because you guys have a fine young man on his way doing his thing. And that's where it starts, your family. Because they, on your worst days, your best days, they always gonna have your back. Never forget that. And I would leave you with never let someone put you in a box. I was a police officer. You know what else I do? I'm on TV. You know what else I do? I'm an actor. You know what else I do? I got 3 adult kids that I take care of. You know what else I do? I started my own foundation. You know what else I do? Like, it just never let people put you in a box. When I was actively a police, I still had an entertainment company as well, because in that line of work, I needed something to offset that job. You see what I'm saying? So in the police world, they were like, how can you do events and concerts and parties and this, and you the police officer? You a police officer. And that's what I say, because I can. When I'm off, this is where I'm at. And when you're dealing in the homicide business, your mind is you have to protect your mental health in that part of my career. So to my outlet from that world, I was entertaining, laughing, having fun, making sure my family and friends had fun. So I've always been that guy who is going to make sure everybody's laughing, having fun. But I can get serious too when I need to. So never let people put you in a box. Just take that with you and stay on your studies.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
You're 11 now, you got a long way to go. All right? I know when you get about 16, you're going to get cool. You're going to be like, man, listen to y'all old people. What we say back there? You know, I say we look good for our age. So you want to make sure you still look good for your age. And I just met you, but I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, all right?
Can you please come up? He was one of the men that was featured in the magazine.
Karen, FYI, Calvin too.
I know. I can tell y'all shut up some. No, Cal, come stay on over here, and can he have your mic? Yes, and the rest of my community heroes, can you come up here, community heroes, and our business and entrepreneurship? Yes, because Calvin just got a little treat tonight, right? Yes. Yeah, just come on up here. Stand up here. Just stand up. Yeah. Just come on. Let's make a circle. And then Wesley will just get me later on how he gonna film this. Get all of us in that shot. Oh, Karen working it out. Yes. Go over it. Go. And then she said, leave that chair. She saw what was happening. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what a team would do. Go ahead, work it out for me, Yolanda. I'm just messing. Yes, I joke. We'll tell them about it later. Yeah, it's all the way up. Yeah.
Karen, this is a proclamation to Julian Santana-Mays. Julian, it says from the County Council, whereas Julian Santana-Mays has served Prince George's County and its surrounding areas and has henceforth indelibly enhanced the community served, and whereas as a resident of Clinton, Julian has grown and developed numerous talents such as football, basketball, singing, dancing, and being a wonderful friend. And whereas Julian has committed his intellectual capacity to community service opportunities such as the International Read to Me Day celebration, and whereas Julian, as the tour ambassador for the Sheriff John Carr of Prince George's County, and he assisted him with the launch of Sheriff Carr's Men Who Read campaign, promoting intellectual advancement opportunities for young men. Whereas Julian Santana-Mays successfully, this is what I like about you, young brother. Julian Santana-Mays successfully patrols Clinton Grove Elementary School and protects his friends and educators. So you keep the bullies in check. Lastly, whereas Julian Santana-Mays will continue to serve his community by advancing his intellectual capabilities by studying law enforcement. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Prince George's County Council on behalf of the citizens of Prince George's County, we acknowledge Julian Santana-Mays and we appreciate his community service efforts in Prince George's County. Signed by the County Council of Prince George's County. If you all could just open those, it says something on them about the work you specifically do. And when Karen asked me to come and do this, I was so honored. And just to listen and know the people you honored tonight, Karen, I leave here more humble than I arrived, and I will continue to serve. And if I may say, when I heard Nick Charles' story, I thought I knew it. But when I heard the piece about your father and that you all served our country the way you did, because like you, many of you, and I know Coach Bleu see it, when you see him with his young son and his daughter, you know that's a father grooming a young boy to become a man and a young girl to become a young lady. And it means so much to me when I see you doing what you do with your kids. I wish I had that opportunity. I have a daughter, as you know, but I've missed some years in her life because of my stupidity, and I ended up incarcerated. I didn't have that time. But when I watch individuals like you, it just touched my heart. So thank you for the example you set. And this guy here, one day, Coach Bleu, if he ever get in your program, let me know, because we'll be right there with him. And the work you do is so amazing to our county, and thank you. You're not only 6'5", 6'6", but you represent that. And when I saw you over at Flowers, and you had more respect from the students than the teachers and administrators. So I'm grateful to you, Brother Bill. We're gonna get together because you're doing the real work as well. And the man himself, Brother Tal, you that guy, no question. Growing up in D.C., when the times you spoke about, I'm sitting back there, man, how that guy look so young, not stressed, got it done. So I'm just grateful for you, Karen. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the life. He's a great representation of you. And lastly, Karen, I know we gotta go, but this guy here, the salt of the earth. Everything he said.
Amen.
I had a chance when I worked in emergency management, Senator Charles, to work with this man. And you know how someone comes in your life just for a short period. He was at Emergency Management Homeland Security for a short period. But his presence, the aura about him, and he'll tell you, we were always the first two to get to work. We were supposed to be there at 8:30. This gentleman and I, 6:30, 7, because that's really when you get to work in, get to study in that you need. And this guy left that place far better than he found it. And it means so much to me to have this moment with you, because you know our conversation, our discussion. It was at times, Senator Charles, and you need to hear this too, Julian, I gotten distressed, little worried about my past and worried about if I could move forward, because the young brothers around me, they weren't like you. So you keep doing what you're doing, because you want to make our world better because of your greatness. And I wanted to say to you, thank you, man. And you know, I'm a council member now, and people say, oh, he's that guy. But you saw me at my lowest moments when I was wondering, how could I get through it? And that's when you really, really, really ministered to me about Jesus. And I'll never forget those moments, because when I get at a point I struggle, I really remember our conversations, and I'm able to look to the hills from which comes my help. And I remember you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Oh, amen. Let me just do this. Usually everybody know I like to end, and we are thankful for God for everything that He do. And as we say, just continue to see your vision while living a purpose. And thank you, and God bless. And as I cut off the camera, I must do my fashion statement. I thought I was gonna forget it, but I went to a shop, and this is one. Irina Tyler original, yeah. Miss Irina, thank you. I told you I was gonna wear it tonight. All right, see ya.
What time did you say? 7:20. Okay. I need it. Thank you.
I'm back in the basement, back in Atlanta somewhere. It's some music. Music for the music. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is something.